Peasant Productions presents the math of ESP, why it works even if you don't believe in it. Okay, now in the previous part here, part 4, I was explaining how if all of your rules and regulations are created by elders, then you're always going to be living in the past. Conservation, trying to make things back like it was. Conservatives, trying to keep things as it once was. Quite illogical. You're not adapting, you're not adjusting, you're not learning new things, you're not trying new things, you're not doing anything to present your species with survival. Okay? If you are a conservation person who is trying to go out and make a forest like it once was, and you are in an environment where you do not have total control of absolutely everything, it's illogical to try and do that. You need to figure out what is happening and what you need to do to recreate some of those lost plants. Hopefully somebody can find some of them somewhere. The Native Americans lost a humongous amount of valuable data because greedy capitalists, yes. Greedy people, alright? Stop using the word capitalist like it's dirty. Stop trying to think that money is dirty. Money isn't dirty. Humans are dirty. Accept responsibility for what you are and stop blaming inanimate objects and inanimate names like capitalists and Soviets and socialists and commies and Democrats and Republicans. Go back and look at the history. All you do with Democrats and Republicans is you argue it back and forth. You don't get anything done. Okay? You behave like a couple of little squabbling, spoiled, rotten brats in kindergarten, and that's all the entire legislation is. Millions upon millions of dollars wasted on people arguing back and forth why it shouldn't be done. It shouldn't change. Not using logical statements of if we do this, then we will present X, Y, Z. No, we have to do this to prevent that over there. That bad thing might happen. No. Let's look at the reality. What's the good parts of stuff, okay? Now, if you're a kid, it's kind of interesting because you see, kids are taught to be stupid. Kids are taught not to try and be creative. Kids are taught, and there was even a Harry Chapin song back in early 70s, possibly even late 60s. I forget exactly when he first did it, but it was about a little kid going to school. And the kid is punished because he wants to paint the flowers whatever color he feels like, in the sky whatever color he feels like. I witnessed a lot of that. Okay, all the time, everywhere. The difference is I simply put my foot down and say, no, you don't tell me that pile of crap. Anything I want to paint because it's my painting, I don't care. It's my thing to care about what I want to do, not whether or not it pleases you. Okay? That's one of the reasons why us really artistic people sometimes are lousy marketers, because we like doing what we want to do, and we don't care whether or not it sells. We're not greedy egoists. We're creative nutscapes, I guess. I don't know. But needless to say, we do what we like to do. Now, when one of those things catches on, it becomes a fad. And for a little while it happens. When it becomes really something, then it's an era like Impressionists or Masters or Renaissance. All those different modern art type things. The grunge is now there. The chalkboards and all these variations of things that have been around, and people are doing different things and trying different things with. Okay, so the artist who is really an artist is always developing. The artist that becomes a craftsperson is somebody that takes a particular set of songs or a particular style of music and sets themselves down hard in their seat in that, and that's all they do and nothing more. Okay? The same thing happens with your governments and your churches. They find themselves in a position where they have easy money coming in. They don't have to do anything. They just keep telling lies. And everybody's so used to those lies that they come running back for more. They're like the idea of Donald Trump people. Donald Trump is up there telling lies at a rate of at least probably one a day. That's a whopper. And people are running after him and saying, oh, God has spoken, this guy's so intelligent. Meaning they never bothered to fact check what he even opened his mouth about. And then you have the Trump followers running around and saying the same sort of stuff, even though it's been classically disproven 1,000 times over. They're running around screaming, oh, you're fake news if you put facts in front of me. Fake news, fake news. Okay? So, like I said, you have a very classic example of what is known as the Roman divide and conquer, bread and circuses circle. Okay? You tell people to look over there and look over there and look over there and look over there. Blame that other guy. Oh, it's that guy now. Oh, no, it's this guy's fault. Oh, we can't blame Muslims. Fine, we're going to blame Mexicans. Oh, we can't blame Mexicans. Fine, we're going to blame North Korea. Yeah, right. Every last one of them is a big fat lie. So you have divided everybody up. They're chasing their tails all over the place, doing nothing. They're not fact-checking anything. They're not sitting there and looking at the fact that since I think it was 1953 or 1954, was the first time North Korea threatened to send in a nuclear missile at the United States. Oops. That's older than me, folks. I was born in 58. Yeah, I'm 60. That means that's almost 65 years ago. There's some dumb sucker over there in another country said he's going to throw a missile of a nuclear device at this country. And you people are still running scared and paranoid, okay? So that is the operation of called bread and circuses, where you keep entertaining the people and making them fed with cheap food. Fast food, cheap food, processed food. Everybody eats the same thing so you can package it all up the same. Totally amazing how you go out of your way to obliterate yourselves, your intelligence, your factors of being intelligent, and everything that would ever make any difference. Now, like I said, you bring in kids, it's a different thing. Kids are going to want to look at different ideas and look at different facts, and they're in a mode of being hungry for food, hungry for knowledge. So they're going to go fact check a heck of a lot more than Grandpa would. They don't have 30 years of tradition behind them to say that we got to do it this way because that's the way we've always done it. They're new and young and experimenting and trying and learning and adjusting. And more importantly, they're realizing that after they do their 4 years, and they might be in 4 or 5 different office departments in that 4 years because they're learning all kinds of stuff all over the place, they're going to go out of the system and they have to live with whatever they did. There's no going back and changing it. Okay, somebody else might change it, but they're not going to go back and change it. Biggest politician lie today. I'm the change. They aren't the change. They are the system. Bernie was an activist in the 60s. And I believe he was arrested around the 70s, and shortly after that he became a politician. Interesting, huh? Yes. And just at the time when the United States needs a politician to step up and say, I'm for all the little people, and point to his background and say, see, I was an activist a long, long time ago. And everybody, a bunch of people ran that way, and a bunch of people ran to Trump. And then you have the bickering and fighting and nothing gets done because you're too busy watching the show of everybody throwing the mud pies back and forth. Oops. Yeah. Bread and circuses. In the 1880s, it was called mudslinging, and the Democrat and Republican parties were called, I believe, what was it, the Democratic Republicans and the Whigs. And the Whigs, because they were actually a British name, went under, and the Democratic Republican Party split itself in two. The people from the Whigs came in and joined the Democratic Republican split, and you became Democrats and Republicans, and you know, everything else was kind of wishy-washy and around there. There's different people who align different groups. The Federalists were actually, I think the Federalists and the Whigs were similars. Maybe it's the Federalists and the Democratic Republic. I think it's the Federalists and the Democratic Republicans, 1888. They threw so much mud back and forth at each other, so much name calling, that yes, the public literally got pissed off. The press, which was still honest at that point in time, layered it up everywhere about how bad they were. And then the press and the public just let the people rename themselves and, you know, do the PC thing. Politically correct, real, just call ourselves something else and continue playing the same game. And yeah, you became quite dumb. Everything you turn around and look at it is modeled after the idea of dumbing yourselves down on purpose so that your government doesn't lose control. So that the bankers and the 0.001% rich elite stay in control. That 1,000 people that basically control all of what's basically happening on a planet of 7 billion. Yeah. Not very logical, not very smart. But you see now why governments want you to have lots of babies, and they put lots of chemicals and everything to make certain that the children are contaminated and mutated and you know, defective. So you have so much time in a day, and you spend it trying to take care of that mutilated, defective child that you purposely brought into the world knowing that it had a high probability of being defective. And you didn't even care that you were going to bring a defective child in, because you didn't care what was going in the water, you didn't care what was going in your food, you didn't care what was in your air, and you didn't care what was in the land. And you didn't care that your schools were producing high levels of toxic content, I guess would be the proper word to use, eh, boss? Toxic content. Telling people to only believe one thing. It's like Edison went out and literally executed by electrocution elephants, dogs, cats, anything he could to try and smear the fact that Tesla had the more important idea, was the more important person, was the more intelligent person. And so when you measure intelligence by the idea how much money a person has in their pocket, you're dumb. You're very dumb. You see, a thief can go out and steal a whole lot of money. But when the thief runs out of money, he has to go find somebody to steal again from. Somebody that's intelligent, somebody that knows how to use intelligence, like I do, can walk into any situation, anywhere, anytime, and begin assessing what's going on around them and learning from it and producing income around them from whatever their actual work is or their actual abilities are, regardless of all of the limitations. No matter how good a craftsman you are, if you only know how to make one thing, you're not very good. If the more intelligent a person is, the more things they will be able to do. Tesla didn't do just one thing. Edison just knew how to do marketing. Okay? Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook, he made a single program. He markets a single product. The day his Facebook goes under is the day he goes under. Okay? He might have some residuals and some bits and pieces and some stocks in other companies, but other than that, he's got nothing more he's ever done with himself. Okay? So yeah, you got to stop and look at the logics of whether or not money is intelligence or what they got between their ears is intelligence. And youth aren't taught to be stupid.